there's this subplot there of like Terry doesn't want to get a vasectomy because he doesn't think that he's done having babies kind of thing. And I love how he kind of pushes that envelope or pushes that narrative of like, wait a second, like dads can want more kids too.
Yeah.
Like it's not a one-sided thing. And Jake supports him in that. Jake encourages him that. Jake finds out that they're pregnant with the third before anybody else does and can't really hold in the secret. So yeah, I love Jake and Terry's relationship a ton.
Yeah, and I love they have a really cool friendship, and I love that this show is like kind of pro baby in a lot of ways, because I feel like so much of our culture, especially in the media, it's like, oh, when you having kids, it's like, oh, I'm not having, because there's kind of this knee jerk reaction in so much of the world. I remember when my wife was pregnant, we went to a wedding for one of my college friends, and she hadn't met a bunch of my college friends. She's a few years younger than me, and so some of the ladies I went to college with who had some kids, they kind of took my wife aside at one point, and they were just be like, look, being a mom is hard, but it's amazing. And they just kind of like, even though they just met her for the first time, just because of their friendship with me, they kind of took her aside and like affirmed her and like built her up and is like, you're going to love it and it's going to be amazing. And I think that was so good for us to hear, just because we don't even realize how many anti-children messages there are out there. So I love that this show kind of bucked that a little bit. It's, they're excited about kids. And so we're Jake and Amy.
Terry's got kids. Charles adopts.
Yeah.
And then Amy and Jake struggle with infertility, which is like the way that they talk about that in the show, honestly, was probably one of, I think, the best, like there's a conversation at one point where like Amy's like, everybody tells me to stop stressing about it, but like that's not going to help. Like maybe there is something wrong, or like, and they're both really struggling with it. So then when they do get pregnant, like you're rejoicing for them, but like I was thinking of all my friends I know that have struggled with infertility.
Yes.
And how this show really just, it captured that struggle, and it captured, and they jump through time as they're telling that story. Yeah.
And how Jake, even before that, he had gone on a journey where he didn't want to have kids because he was worried he's going to screw his kids up, because his father was so terrible and was a philanderer and was gone all the time. And he's like, I know that's in me somewhere. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Like, I don't want to pass that on to my kids. I don't know what a healthy family looks like. And he finally arrives at this place where he's like, no, I am excited about this. And then it's such a struggle for them. It's like, there's some really heartbreaking moments in there. I think you're right. It really talk about, representation. Like so many people struggle with that and they think they're the only ones, and then, I think it's probably more common in the Catholic world, for people to say, oh, NFP, you got to abstain. And, we have so many kids, these homeschoolers with 12 kids. And there's some people sitting there being like, I would love to have 12 kids. We can't even have one. We've had miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage, or there's sexual trauma in our relationship. So my spouse doesn't even want to have sex with me. Like there's so many people struggling with issues like that. And they don't see other people struggling with it. So I think it's great when shows like this and people in the church are willing to talk about these things, because people are struggling with them all the time. So
it's like you said, it's representation. It's the chance to actually, show the full spectrum. It's not just, okay, well, we got another bad guy that we have to catch. Like they're really digging into some harder things over the course of just like the scaffolding of the show, which is they're cops and they're catching robbers kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I take my time, flex like whoa. I take my time, just let's go. I take my time, flex like whoa. Tell them bado. I take my time, flex like whoa. I take my time, just let's go. I take my time, flex like whoa. Tell them bado. It's like this though.